What is going on, my noob and noobets, and thank you for tuning back into another episode of Let's Play Timberborn Noob. Now, I had recorded two episodes, episode 1 and episode 2. That's what it took to get through the canyons, but for some reason the audio in episode 1 was all destroyed, and there was no way going back to or replaying episode 1 without playing the whole canyon. So I'm just gonna go from episode 2 of what will be episode 1, which will just be an overview of what I've done, and that will be it for the canyon. The canyon is a very small map, as you guys can see, very small. And so this was actually took, like I said, 2 episodes, which was technically 1 recording. And that's what I did with that. And because it was so small and the amount of space that I could use, usually I go to have a water district, a lumber district, and a farm district, but I utilized just this small space. I could have made water district a little bit bigger, but what I ended up doing was just using this one district to create the 3 different industries. So the farming's in the center like I normally do, with lumber off to the side and water off to the side. So that is still doing that. And then I have a little bit of industries here, and I have more that I could have done. But again, like I said, because of the small space that I was working with, I just went with what I had. So I originally started with berries, obviously, which was filling up this area, and you can still see there's some there. And then I went over and I then went with carrots. And then after some time, I went with potatoes. And the reason why I did potatoes versus carrots is each one of these that you see is ready to be picked. Carrots would have gave us 1 that we picked. Now potatoes give us 1 when we pick it, as you can see, gives us 1. But if we grill that potato, which takes 1 potato and 0.1 log, we get 4 grilled potatoes. And as you can see, those stack up pretty quickly, and food stacks up pretty quickly. So for 37 beavers, we are holding an abundance of water. I mean, a crazy amount of water. And for lumber, what I did, this area was originally full of trees. Obviously, I cut those trees down to get a lot of these buildings going. And then I moved them over here. So up here, I created this dam, which when I first built it, I did not realize water was coming from this direction and rolling down. So the canyon is actually going up and down in this orientation of the camera, or from right to left in this orientation of the camera. So I had to cut that open. I had a dam here, but I broke it down and I created a platform so the water can flow through, because in a drought phase with this dam here, all of this was drying out and it was killing my crops and it was killing my trees. So I had to remake the dam, and I remade the dam. Actually, I did not. Oh yeah, I did. Here it is. I remade the dam down here, so that way it would keep our trees and our plants fertilized, or not fertilized, but watered. Then I just made a little bridge here and another bridge here. Now, originally I had the lumberjack and the forester up here, hence why this was here. Oh, obviously this was here because it was a dam at first, but I turned it into a bridge. And then I moved it down here so then I can plant trees through here. And these are all maple trees, which is giving us 8 logs per tree, if I remember correctly, which right now has our log pile, which is the storage for logs. It has that full as hell. So that is just sitting there. Actually should be logs sitting in these guys. Yeah. Yep. Those guys are full. So they'll stay full. The only thing that's utilizing them right now are our gear workshop and our lumber workshop and these 2 grills. The grills don't really count because, like I said, it's 0.1 of a log is what it's using. But the lumber and the gear, well, not the gear, but the lumber mill is using a log. So that's what I did for the lumber industry. I created a little bridge right here so they can go up here and cut these down, but with there being nowhere where they can put them, yeah, they're not cutting anything down. And then for water, I did have a water pump right in this area right here, hence why there's these two little water tanks. I had this pumping after we got up to I think about 20 beavers or so. That water pump was starting to drain this canal once I set up this dam. So I moved it up here, which then I put two big pumps here and two big water tanks, which is surprisingly enough not full. That's weird. And then I put what is this? Four triple floodgates. And the floodgates was actually smaller than the area that I was blocking off, which worked good. So I have all four of my floodgates at a 3 height, which is maxing it out. So what's actually happening here is that the water is actually running over the top of it. So that's good. And then if I need water down here for whatever reason, I can just lower the floodgates. I can just like drop it down. But there's no point in that. That actually might flood the area a little bit. These were just created so I can build look at that, it's gonna flood the area just a bit. These were created just so I can make my floodgates. Nothing too dramatic there. Little stairwell here and a monument. I created 4 of these monuments. There's one in the water district, there's one in the lumber area. Look at that. That should recede here in a second. And then one for the farming district. I needed to make those 4 to hit the cap of the labor monument, which gave us the 8 to finish off this map. Those guys required 200 logs a piece. So that was what, 2, 4, 6, 800 logs is what I need. So that really pushed this to the limit. This is actually what was remaining after I created all 4 of those. So yeah, that actually destroyed the not the lumber. It actually destroyed the maple trees quite a bit, which are the trees that give you the most lumber at the moment, if I'm correct. Yeah, maple gives you 8 logs, takes 30 days to grow. Chestnut, 4 logs, 24 days to grow. Pine, 2 logs, 12 days to grow. And birch, 1 log, 9 days to grow. Now, I was going to do chestnut because there were new trees and I haven't used chestnuts yet. But I was saying for 6 more days, I get 4 more logs. So there's no point of going chestnut, in my personal opinion. Now, you can make chestnut so that you can get, actually, let's not look at it that way. I think it's here. Here we go. I think it's I think it's the second recipe where you can make, I don't know what it's called, but it's something new that I have not done yet, which I probably will visit on another map. And I have 4 inventors because I needed the 1,000 signs to unlock these labor monuments. So they were just created there. I did need to create 2 farms to keep the potatoes flowing. One wasn't enough. It wasn't able to keep up with the amount of food that was required. So I did have to create 2. And that's also why I had to end up creating 2 grills, because we were keeping an abundance of potatoes, which we're still doing, but it is what it is. As far as housing goes, which is another one of our, well, actually, there's hunger and then there's thirst, obviously. And then sleep and shelter. Originally, I started off with these mirror lodges and regular lodges. And then once I had enough signs, I upgraded to a double lodge, which I have these here in the back. What is that? 5 of those, I think. They hold 6 beavers. So for every 2 of these, I could have 1, but I needed roughly this amount of beavers to have everything full. As you can see, I have almost every job filled up. I'm only short 1 beaver, or it looks like 2 beavers. Oh, I actually have 3 farmhouses. Oh, I didn't realize that. Well, I have 3 farmhouses. Let's double back on the farmhouses. So for the farmhouses, I actually had to organize these a bit to keep up with, like I said, the food that it required. So I said 2 of them for that's not 1. There we go. I had to set 2 of them for harvesting, so that way it can pull this stuff up as quick as it can, and then 1 for planting. So that 1 planter seems to be just fine for 2 harvesters. So that's something I'm gonna keep in mind. Because if this was full, it'd be 4 beavers harvesting and then 2 beavers planting, which seems to be able to keep up with no problem. So that's something I would like to keep in the back of my head for future maps when I run into a big farmland. Now, I do have a small storage. I was planning on making an underground storage, but once I built a second storage, which I'll explain that, I really didn't need it. So in this storage, I'm only keeping food stuff, but granted, I'm only holding on to berries, potatoes, and grilled potatoes. So I did not entry of all goods, so like books, gears, plants, explosives, papers. Granted, I'm not making all that stuff, but I did block all that off so it wouldn't go in there. And then in this storage, I made it so it would hold all the goods, which would be like, again, paper, planks, gears, explosives, things like that. But right now, the only things that it's holding is going to be gears and planks. So this one's only holding gears and planks and is currently kept out, with most of it being planks and 42 of it being gears. I want to see if this water thing's still not full. That's crazy. I could put another one up here, but I'm technically done with this map. I do have, I don't have my 8 pause because of food. It's not a big deal. Let's see what else. So I did build the gear shop because I needed the gears for these tanks. They required, let's see, what did they require? Large water tank. They required 20 gears, so I needed 40. And then obviously I have the plank maker, or the lumber mill, which is making planks for just about everything. Like these stairs required them. These platforms required them. The floodgates required them. A couple of things required them. As far as power goes, the lumber mill required 50, so I have a power wheel going on right there, which is being boosted by all these shrubberies, which is giving, I think, a 30% boost to productivity. And as far as the gear shop goes, it only required 120. Currently, it's sitting at 340. And I'll explain how that happened. I didn't realize it. The water wheel gives out 90. Obviously, that's not enough for 120. So I said, I'll just build 2. Now, I did not realize this game was that in tune to the environment. Since we're in a canyon, this water is traveling downhill. Technically, right? It would have a much faster stream than normal. So instead of these guys outputting 90, they're actually outputting 195. So that's why this guy is sitting up at 342 being supplied and only 120 being demanded. Technically, I could bring these piping around and connect it here, but that wasn't not needed. Not needed. I have this little lonely little single hut or mini lodge. I had 30. The housing that I currently had was currently only able to hold 36, and for shelter I was missing it. Right, I had 36 out of 37, so I had to create this little crazy man lodge off to the side by itself so I can reach that cap. And let me see, grilled potatoes. For some reason, we don't have our 8 at the moment. That's weird. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build an underground storage, and maybe that will be able to hold on to more of that. Let's continue on with the buildings. I put roofings on the housing. I don't know why that's spaced like that. Yeah, I do. I put roofings on all of my housing so I can then hit the roof milestone. Now I have 8 for some reason. I'm just gonna build that anyways. That gave me the 8. This is the hauling post. This just allows all of these guys to move water and move logs and stuff like that, move the food and stuff. So that way the people that are actually working don't have to. Because if you notice, if this guy fills up and you don't have this hauling post, or if your district, because if your guys in district don't have anything to do, they'll act as haulers. He will actually stop making whatever he's making to transport it. So in order for him to have higher productivity, which is super low for some reason. Oh, wait, I know why it's low. But it's for him to have higher productivity, he doesn't have to stop. So like, same goes for this guy. He wouldn't have to stop. But if he stops, his productivity and his efficiency will go down. Same thing for the guys that pump in here. They would go down because they'd have to stop pumping to deliver, which ultimately means you're not getting the best that you can get out of those people. And then obviously here I have builders. I just needed to build some stuff, so that's why I created builders. I just wanted things to be built faster. Like I think at the time I made those builders, I was building this and I was coming up on a drought and I had plenty of wood, but at the time I only had the 4 that's in the district, and those 4 weren't building fast enough for me. So I built a builder's hut, which at the time I actually had it full. So I had 8 builders, but after reorganizing where my people were going, I now only have 6 builders. So in case you don't know, the beavers in the district, they act as builders and they act as haulers. So depending on what they have available or what they can do at the time, that's what they would do. And I think that's really about it. I have 2 lumberjacks here just because this guy could reach all the way up here. And at the time I had trees planted down here, so I had to create another one so he could reach down here. But the problem was the forester could only plant there. So this guy kind of really became not needed, but I kept him just to help chop down these trees, because again I was hurting for trees. And I think I'm in a drought right now. I am in a drought, so these aren't working and the gears aren't being made, but it is what it is. And let me see, I think I have the gatherer because I used to have berries here and I was running low on food. When I transitioned over from carrots to potatoes, I needed to give, I think the potatoes took like 6 days, I think. Yeah, they took 6 days. So when I planted them, obviously I wasn't making any food, so I built a gatherer so he could gather those berries while these were giving them some time to basically grow. And I was planning on making, where is it? I think it's here. I was gonna think about putting a beehive in here, but I needed paper and I did not really know where I was gonna put. I mean, I could have put the paper industry right here, which would have been just fine, especially with how much this outputs, which would have been fine. I mean, it could have done the job like I wanted it to, but we have so much food already, it doesn't even really matter. That is what it is. And we're running out of the storage that we had because now we have more space for potatoes. And let's see, I think it's 493. We have 38 berries in there. So yeah, look at that, 317 already in there. We have more than enough food for beaver. And yeah, we're currently in a drought, 6-day drought. All this is dried up. Like I said, this is from right to left was how the water flowed. Originally, I thought it was from left to right. This first is right to left, but that is how this district is. Like I said, we have the 8. We got the hunger, thirst, sleep, and shelter. And we got nutrition from the grilled potatoes. Aesthetics, we got it from roofs and shrubs. And the all, we got it from the labor alignment, which gave us 8 of the milestones. And then, like I said, we technically did not make the districts because of how small this was, but I did place them like I normally would. So water, lumber, and food. I did not do the metal, but I could. I did want to tap into this, the underground ruins. Prior to this video, I had pre-recorded a crap ton of videos, and the pre-recording even went through when the update came out for all the new stuff. So I have not had a chance yet to utilize anything new. And in this map, it was so quick that I didn't even utilize any of it. So maybe in the next map, we might be able to utilize some of it. We'll see. A lot of the new stuff that I noticed is not very necessary. It's just more of like, if you want to improve quality of life, or if you was like making a lore, or like, you know, just building on top of building on top of building, or upgrading on top of upgrading, give yourself different opportunities. You can, which I did not use. I did not know there was a mechanical water pump. This is something we might end up doing. It requires 700 horsepower though. That's crazy. I did not realize that. It has a maximum of 4 depth, which I think is close to the Iron Teeth water pump. Their water pump goes deep as hell. But yeah, that's how this episode went. So the next episode will be on the next map. So stick around for that.
Thank you guys for staying tuned into the Noob Network. If you guys have made it this far in the episode, go ahead and hit that notification button, hit that subscribe button so you guys can stay up to date with all of my latest content. Go ahead and check out the video up above, which will be the network's most popular video, and go ahead and check out the video to your right, which will be the next episode in this series. I'll catch you guys in the next one.